Hi there. I'm Floyd, and this is my loyal companion Boris. We are harmless travelers and try to avoid trouble. I'm in the area to hunt, fish, and gather herbs, but it's time to move on. Oh, I'm not alone. My friend Boris accompanies me. I'm just a restless soul wandering from place to place like the wind. And if I like it somewhere, I'll stay a while. Oh, I had women. One of them I loved. She passed long ago. Now my wife is the wilderness. There is nothing more beautiful than the endless expanse, the silence of the night, a crackling campfire, and a pan with bacon and beans. Yes, I've modified it over the years, and Kenny's helped me improve the engine. This truck is my home and my vault. I get bored quickly if I stay in the same place for too long. So, this truck allows me to be on the move. I can also drive in remote areas and go hunting there whenever I like. That brings me rich hunt yield, and my peace as well. The only problem is to get enough fuel for it all the time. It's a true German Shepherd. Maybe you're wondering how this breed could survive the war. Well, I'm not sure myself, but I bought him from some dog breeder ranch near Denver when he was still a pup. They claim that this is a vault breed. It is certainly one of the rarest animals of the post-war world. I even returned to Denver a few years back to mix him with one of the dogs of the breeders, but their place was gone. There were only ruins and bones. No idea what happened. Probably the ranch was raided and burned to the ground. I want to go north to the Great Salt Lake very soon. I can take you with me up to Mickey's Motors. I have to sell my hunting outcome there and get my truck maintained. From there, you can join a caravan to Vegas, or wherever you want to go. Could you help me quickly to get everything ready? Then we'll be on the road in no time. So here we are, Mickey's Motors. I hope it was pleasant to travel with me. I, for my part, enjoyed the company. Your stories from the Mojave were really entertaining. The people here are tough dogs, but you'll find everything you need here. There are free beds, cheap rock gut, and most often they fry a Brahmin on the fire. There is also a dock to patch you together, and the mechanic, Kenny, can repair your weapon or vehicle like nobody else. Sometimes, he even has a vehicle available for sale. You should ask him for it. So long.
Don't mess with Mickey.
A few days ago, I saw a three-eyed raven.
Good day. This is not a stupid hat. I took this protective helmet from the dead skull of a centurion from Caesar's legion. Well, after I had cleaved his skull with my machete. Even so, this protective helmet belonged to a centurion. And besides, how do you even know, you great horde? Bring me the helmet of a centurion and I might believe you. Otherwise, you're just a babbler like all the other guests here. I used to live in Gecko. But since the NCR has its fingers everywhere, nothing is as it used to be. Now it's all about observing rules, paying taxes, all that crappy stuff. I had to get away from it, so I joined some traders as a caravan guard. Eventually, the caravan made its way here, and Mickey appreciated my talents. Can you not see I guard this gate? I also look after the income from the brothel business. But to put it more precisely, I take care that the slaves don't run off and that the suitors behave decently. Huh? They're slaves. You don't have to ask them. It's clear. That makes 75 caps. How about you make the caps with me? Would pay 50 on top of it. No reason to be impertinent.
Hey there. What can old Sam do for you? The Great Salt Lake has become an important hub during the recent conquest of the North, and as a stopover on the way to the East. Out here is mostly no man's land with some communities in between. To the southeast is the territory of the Legion, and in the west the borders of the NCR begins. The rail trucker and us, a loose network of places, which have joined together in the Salt Lake Trading Union, controls the rails and trails around here. The rail network was repaired without cold sweat, and is the only safe route to pass the territory of the Legion by taking the route over the Bonneville Flats. Boneville Flats, so called the endless salt desert between us and Wendover, 100 miles across the plain, without shade, without water, without protection. I built this place here, something like 30 years ago. Mickey, Kenny, LeChuck and I. At that time, there was only rubble and wasteland here. It all started in the south, at the reservation. Mickey was commander of the elite guard of Willem Clark. We used to call him Colonel Green. Today, he calls himself only Mickey. After his conflict with Clark, he wanted nothing to do with the reservation and his old life. The reservation, formerly known as the Nuclear Testing Facility of Los Alamos, top secret, full of pre-war tech and state-of-the-art weapon technology. During the war, the surrounding area was hit by several bombs and irradiated, but the facility itself remained largely untouched. In the underground complex of the facility, there lived and worked over 1,500 people at the time of the Great War. Many of them survived the direct nuclear attack, but only 40 of them survived the creeping radiation and became ghouls. One of these 40 was Dr. Willem Clark, a high-ranking scientist of the institution. 10 years of waiting passed before Dr. Clark turned his back on the facility and went with 12 others to wander through the wasteland. Almost a year later, he returned. Nobody but him of the original 12 survived, but he had gathered over 4 dozen new followers around him. Ghouls, whom he had met on his journey, and who wanted to escape the oppression and hatred of the normal people. He called us ghouls the children of the wasteland, and he wanted to give us a new home, the reservation. That was his vision, and we all followed him. Some say he was already mad at that time, but I believe that came sometime later. In any case, that's how it started back then. Do you want to know more about it? Very well. Under the leadership of Dr. Willem Clark, we built our new home from the ruins of Los Alamos, the reservation. Los Alamos was a true gold mine that allowed us to build an imposing defense system. Dr. Willem Clark was extremely paranoid and was always afraid of a military strike from the Smoothies. No defense mechanism was ever good enough for him. But our greatest protection was the radiation, which lay over the whole complex like a warming blanket. So the years went by and the reservation grew. There was even a trading post with the smoothies at the gates of the reservation. Dr. Willem Clark, however, became increasingly strange. While many of us began to become used to the smoothies, his fanaticism intensified. He wanted to defeat our infertility in order to form a completely new breed from us ghouls. A breed that would ultimately dominate the new world. The children of the wasteland would at last take their legacy and destroy the smoothies, the relics of a lost time. For his cruel experiments, he had female slaves caught to use as hosts. These poor creatures usually died in pain and misery. Nobody can say how many poor creatures found their death deep down in the forbidden third level. But one day, Clark made the impossible. A ghoul was born, and he named his creation Belle. For ghouls, she was a real beauty. In spite of her terrible origin, she was a truly magical being, and everyone was crazy about her, including me. Some of the doubters believed again, and that the goal sanctified all means. More slaves were captured and tortured, but the success rate was low. 3 more ghoul children could be created, but they had imperfections. They were not like Belle. Above all, the price. The price was just too high. Even today, the thoughts about what we did still torment me. There are probably still slaves slaughtered and tortured down there in the dark chambers of the reservation. He used to be called Colonel Green. He was the commander of the elite guard of the reservation. He, so to speak, established the elite force there. Before Mickey and Kenny came to us, we were a bunch of scientists and some normal survivors from the wasteland. No one was really trained in combat. Sure, we had staff for the guard, but that was just anyone who could hold a gun. Mickey and Kenny joined later. Just 2 of the survivors who later settled in the reservation. Mickey took over the command of the guard team rather quickly, and brought in proper training and structure. So it started with Colonel Mickey Green. No one really cared if he really was a colonel or not. One thing is for certain, he protects his friends as faithfully as he traces and massacres his enemies. But you'd better ask him yourself. He doesn't like it when someone talks too much about him. You'll mostly find him in his residence. Mickey's a tough bastard, but not a monster. He still shares many views with Clark, but Clark has crossed the line for him. For Clark, smoothies were nothing more than animals, and his experiments were cruel, gruesome. Establish the ghouls in the world and loathe the smoothies. That's one thing, but no living creature should be tormented like that. Mickey didn't forget that we were once smoothies too. He didn't deny our roots, and he doesn't torture anyone. Mickey couldn't accept Clark's methods anymore. He convinced his best people and pulled them to his side. He could have overthrown Clark and become the ruler of the reservation, but he respected his leader. Instead, we went into exile. I, his brother Kenny, his closest friend Joseph, and some more ghouls followed him. To this day, we have never returned to the reservation. I rather prefer not to talk about that. After leaving the reservation, we roamed around for a while, plundering pre-war ruins and trading the junk. Many of the old cities are still radioactive, proper ghost towns, full of feral ghouls and other mutants. For normal people like you, they're absolute death zones. Nobody dares to go there. For Mickey and his crew, however, they were the real gold mines. We ghouls are immune to radiation and the fells leave us alone. Oftentimes, we could plunder the ghost towns completely undisturbed. The villages and tribes snatched the stuff out of our hands, and we soon had a small fortune. But we needed a place to hoard all our plunder, and where we could sell the goods directly to our clients. This is how Mickey's Motors was born. This canyon seemed perfect to us, secured in 3 directions by massive rock walls, and easy to defend. Nowadays, Mickey is too lazy for scavenging. Only the ruins south of Toxicton are still being searched by LeChuck and his crew. Already done. We mainly sell weapons, ammunition, and gear. We find them looting pre-war cities. Many of the cities are death zones for smoothies because of the ferals. Of course, Kenny's workshop is also an important source of income. Many travelers take the long journey to us because only Kenny understands how to repair their weapons and vehicles properly. Above all, what we need is water. There's no water source nearby, so we often send our water trucks up to Twin Falls, but it's a long way north. The waters of the large salt lake are salted and poisonous. There's no way you could clean or drink that. So the fresh water from Twin Falls is extremely important for the whole region. Once the railway from Wendover to Twin Falls is completed, this area will flourish like never before. For now, we still have to take the mountain trail over Arid Creek. What do you want to know? This union of towns and communities was created about 8 to 9 years ago. At that time, the places around the Great Salt Lake grew fast. More and more travelers and caravans took the route past the Legion to move on to New Canaan, or other places to the east and north. However, with the growing population, the attacks from raiders and tribes increased as well. The desire for more protection emerged. Mickey, Mr. Bowie, Wendover, New Canaan, Twin Falls, and the Waste Trek Company sat down at a table to discuss, and Kenny had a crazy idea. He wanted to repair the old railway line across the Great Salt Desert and connect the communities. But not only trains would use the trails, but he also wanted to move trucks over the tracks, which could use corn as fuel. As you can imagine, everyone thought the guy was crazy, but all had underestimated his technical skill and understanding. Day and night he worked on his plan, and one day the first rail truck was finished. This was the birth of the Salt Lake Trading Union. We began to mend the rails, from Mickey's Motors to Wendover and Bowietown. Right now we're working on the railway to Twins Falls from Wendover, but this is more of a challenge and progress is slow. The rails can be used to get down to the NCR in Vegas, but the rail trucks only operate here in the north. From Wendover the trains go west. All our troubles paid off in the end. From then on, we were able to trade goods and manpower between places quickly. Within hours we were the focal points. Rail trucker patrols were able to guard the railroad and give the traders protection. The raiders and tribes were hopeless for years, and no one dared to attack us. The Salt Lake Trading Union spotted everyone with personnel, weapons, water, and goods. If there was some distress, but normally all the places remained independent. Until recently it all worked wonders, but now it seems like the natives and raiders are a step ahead of us. The destruction of New Canaan has severely affected our alliance, and it seems to only be the beginning. Oh, there you have a great choice. Until recently, the Salt Lake area was the territory of the White Legs, primitive natives, but very aggressive. They are enemies of the 80s, a raider group that also claims this territory. North of Salt Lake begins no man's land, wide areas of the unknown. There are, however, isolated settlements, but Twin Falls is really the last glimpse of real civilization up there. If you go further north, then the real unknown begins. We know very little about this wilderness, but there are efforts to open up the north. Many caravans and fortune seekers break from here. Very few return. To the south and southeast is Caesar's territory. If you want to stay alive, you should avoid those guys. In the east you will find the ruins of Salt Lake City. It's now called Toxicton because of the mysterious toxic clouds and strange creatures there. Many stories surround these ruins. Not even us ghouls go there. It's a strange and haunted place. The poisonous fumes and the radioactive winds surround the city like a corpse and conceal its secrets. Then there is the trade route to New Vegas along the mountains. There, the 80s are always waiting for the next trade caravan to come along. The biggest threats are really the 80s and the White Leggers, of course. Both tribes have trained fighters and good arms. However, the White Legs are very seldom seen recently. This could be related to all these rumors about the burned man having been seen in Zion. Maybe the White Legs went down there to chase him. As you can see, there are many pleasant areas, but we don't depend on the NCR. The people up here are proud and free. Nobody knows. These clouds began to spread many years ago. Since then, they have taken the whole city ruins. No one has returned alive or with sanity from the ruins to tell about its secrets. There was perhaps only one man who could have told the secrets hidden in the Salt Lake City ruins. Bishop Mordecai, the leader of the fallen New Canaan. Several years ago, Mordecai left New Canaan with almost half the population. They moved south, towards New Jerusalem, the old home of his people, claiming they were going to resettle it. They were not successful. Mordecai and a handful of followers returned to New Canaan, and have never spoken about what happened to make them return. However, it was obvious to everyone that they were the only survivors of that ill-fated expedition. They must have faced something really horrifying. Now those people are all dead, slaughtered by Whitelegs, and their secrets went to the grave with them. I tell you, my friend, avoid that place. It holds terrible things that should not be found. Little is known about the North. The areas beyond Twin Falls are largely undeveloped by the New Age civilization. It's likely that there are many wild tribes and beasts. City ruins are probably swarming with ferals and mutants. But perhaps there is also the land of milk and honey, and this is the reason why nobody ever speaks about it or returns from there. I guess you'll have to find out yourself, but you'd better not go unprepared, and don't leave anyone behind that might miss you. Already done. Oh, there's really not much to say. I'm just a simple bartender. I've heard the Burnt Man is back. He was seen in Zion Canyon. In the middle of the Salt Lake is supposed to be an uncanny island, which houses terrible creatures. Rumor has it that the poison clouds from the Salt Lake City ruins would spread even further. New Canaan was attacked and destroyed by the Whitelegs. The 80s are causing more and more problems in the area. It's said that they're supported by dark forces. Mr. Bowie uncovered a huge bounty for a villain named Hinky Pete. Supposed to be over 600 caps. Believe it, he was seen in this area. But don't you think this is easy caps? Hinky Pete is a bloody badass. No idea. Have you already searched the surrounding caves? The Legion's been peaceful lately. Just let the NCR and Legion bash their skulls together for all our sakes. The damn mole rats multiply faster than we can kill them. I think Mickey would be glad about anyone to help him solve the problem. I've got nothing new for you. Fare thee well.
What do you want from Mickey? Awesome. You can go in, but take off your shoes.
What do you want? About time someone wanted to pick this up. Can you handle the rifle? Is that so? Very well then. For a few weeks now, these mole rats have annoyed us. They sleep on the tracks, bother the trade caravans, and steal food from the Brahmin. Nothing that would really burden us, but it annoys us. We make regular hunts through the ravine and shoot every damn mole rat off, but they keep coming back. You often see them creeping into the cracks before we catch them. There must be some big nest somewhere that needs to be smoked. I want to see all those critters dead. Can you do that? Excellent. I expect results. If you succeed, I'll make sure you don't go away worse off. Fine, but keep it short. Ask dear Uncle Sam. The old chatterbox knows more about me than I do. The old daughter is damn right. But honestly, I didn't expect him to take it into account. Well, let me think. My parents were vault dwellers from Vault 53. Let me tell you, you couldn't find a bigger pile of shit if you tried. Nothing worked. It needed repairs constantly. All the equipment was total scrap and there were no spare parts anywhere. As vaults go, we got a damn cripple, that's for sure. But I tell you, my brother Kenny's been just what we need in there. A real technician. At 15, he held the entire store alone. I couldn't make heads or tails of most of the stuff. Left it in a worse state than I found it. Kenny would fix it anyway. Our parents couldn't handle the stress of the vault and passed away. So, Kenny and I made a decision, and we went out into the wasteland. That was a really stupid plan. The vault lay in the middle of the remnants of Phoenix, completely bombed and beautifully irradiated. Our bodies didn't really like that, but hey, at least we survived. After that, we roamed around for a while. Stayed a while here and there, but very few places welcomed us ghouls. It was a hard time out there. But Kenny and I were a good team. He could build something valuable from any junk, and I kept the bandits and beasts away. You could say he was responsible for the technical problems, and I for the organic. Eventually, the nomadic life became quite tiresome, and we heard of a place called the Reservation, a safe haven for ghouls like us. So we headed there. Uncle Sam can tell you the end of the story. I don't really like talking about it. Bye.
Mickey says I'm not supposed to talk to strangers.
I wear red because I like the challenge to be a permanent target.
do you want from Mickey? Awesome. You can go in, but take off your shoes.
What do you want? Is the situation solved? Are you kidding me? Rat tooth? What am I supposed to do with a damn rat tooth? I'm only interested in one thing. Is the problem solved? Excellent work. Your kind of people are always welcome here. Of course your efforts shouldn't be for nothing, but I don't want to pay you in caps. Instead, I want to give you this shotgun. It's very valuable and will serve you well in future jobs. You could of course just sell it, but it would be a shame. I don't need these antiques anymore. I switched to fully automatic. Bye.
Good day. Yeah, sure. They're all my own design. Chief mechanic. Yes, you could say that. Even though I'm the only mechanic here anyway. Well, a couple of the guys help me, of course. Sometimes. But most of them cannot distinguish a wrench from a hammer. Sure, let me see. Oh, no. Do not worry. Sure, that thing could explode, but it won't. Definitely not. Also, I have to test the part, you see. Imagine it would fail on the way. Or even worse, it would explode. No. Tests have to be run. This is important. Yes, that's absolutely right. Sometimes I even provide cars free of charge, if I get the missing parts to fix them. You know, there are thousands of broken car hulls everywhere. But the tricky thing is to get the spare parts. A customer without a vehicle generates no income for me, besides a broken gun repair now and then. But a customer with a vehicle is a permanent source of cash, because there's always something broken with these old cars. Guess who can fix it? See, for example, this amazing highwayman before my shack. Very nice hull, but a few core parts are missing. You could help me with that. When we get the car running, you can have it, as long as you always maintenance in here. You'll have to sign a maintenance contract for that. Floyd and a couple of the others did so, and are happy customers. Awesome. I need a fuel cell controller and a working engine. Perhaps one of the scrap cars still has an intact engine. I haven't looked yet, because without the fuel cell controller, the whole thing makes no sense. And where one should find such a thing, I unfortunately have no idea. That's the spirit. Yeah, Mickey and I were formerly vault dwellers. Can you imagine that? It's a damn long time ago. That was Vault 53. And there, nothing really worked. I quickly realized that it cannot hurt at that place to have a little technical understanding. At 3 years, I read Fiend's electronics for the first time. With 7 years, I became part of the Alpha repair team. At 16 years, I became the first technician of the vault. For some time, nothing really ran without me. I got the whole store somehow held together. That was a bit stressful, but also a lot of fun. But let me tell you one thing. The damage in this vault had a system. I can assure you of that. Something had been manipulated, so the whole vault was a permanent construction site. One day, our parents died. I don't know why exactly anymore, but Mickey just meant we had to leave. Well, I had enough anyway. That was a fight against windmills down there. That's how it all started back then. There, I've learned everything. My skills later improved further in the wasteland. Bye.
Good day. It's clear. That makes 75 ca- Good deal. Go on in. Pick one and have fun.
Hi there. After you've paid, I'll tell you everything you want to hear. Then let us have a little fun. Why not try one of the other girls next time?
You better stay out of my way, friend.
My body is moving only for you. I like how you look at me.
No caps in my panties, honey.
Don't stare at me so stupid, you asshole!
Did someone ever cunt you on the head with a huge sledgehammer? It already happened to me.
Is that all we can expect from life?
These lonely days out in solitude always drive me mad.
In another life and time, I might have become a vegetable gardener.
Hey there. Sure thing. You're better off asking Uncle Sam. He knows much more than I do. I was born west of here in Wendover. My father was a rancher, and we had a small farm outside of town, up in the hills. One day, when I was young, our farm was attacked by some whitelegs. The savages took me captive. I thought I was going to be forced to marry one of those animals, but on the way back to their camp, they ran into one of Mickey's convoys. Joseph and his crew killed the whole gang of whitelegs. Since then, Joseph hasn't taken good care of me. He takes care of me, keeps the bad guys away from me, and brings me nice things. Clothing, jewelry, and such. Whatever he manages to find out there. Joseph is so sweet. He looks so gross on the outside, but he has a good heart. He's like a big brother to me. That's what I'm saying. What do you want to know? Yes, sometimes. It all happened so many years ago, but of course I miss them. But life goes on. My old life is just a faraway dream now. What do you want to know? Not so much different than among other humans. After all, they were humans too. Among schools, there are as many good and as many bad ones as you'll find anywhere. But being a ghoul is a cruel fate, and some let it weigh them down heavier than others. Bye!
Good day. And do you have the parts? Awesome. I get to work immediately. Please sign the contract during your wait. The car purrs like a sweet baby kitten. A real miracle of technology. And best of all, it belongs to you, my friend. You all alone. Is this to be believed? Shall I tweet you? Tweak and twack. Chickens don't quack. Funny, eh? Every 3 months, you should come to maintenance. For the price of friendship, of course. In addition, I can offer you, for a tiny fee, some modifications to the car. We can talk about this later in more detail. Now, have a lot of fun and a good trip. Oh, and before I forget, the car, of course, also needs fuel. So, always take a few microfusion cells with you. You can get them from Joseph. You want to talk about my fantastic offer, right? On the one hand, I can certainly do something with the engine power. Get the last percentages from the old lady, you understand. And on the other hand, I can offer you a fundamental reconstruction of nearly all parts. This is just awesome. Excellent. When I'm done with the car, it goes off like a rocket. However, the cost, of course, is also a trifle. Have we already talked about the price? I do not believe that. Let's say 5,000 caps. Well, I'd make it cheaper, but I'm contractually bound to Mickey. No idea. I've never been there before. Awesome. Should we get started? Sure. You take the whole thing apart, you polish every single piece, knock the bumps out, and remove the rest. You do new paint, new pads, new fittings, new rims. It's getting hot. Damn hot. I'm already in love. When do we start? Oh, before I totally forget, the many spare parts and the paint and the work. This all is not absolutely free, of course. I would have to take 10,000 caps for it in total. Otherwise, I would rob myself. Any other ghoul would be happy about such a sentence. See you around. Wait a moment. If you get the chance to meet a cute ghoul babe out there, please tell her that a lonesome technician is waiting for her at Mickey's Motors. These slaves are no good for me. Kenny wants something honest. True love, you know. I hope you understand that. I was never a womanizer. I could always fix the sinks, while Mickey has, sunk other things. And now as a ghoul, my chances probably not improved. But maybe you find somewhere out there a ghoul lady who feels similar. Thank you. You won't regret it. I'll name my kids after you.
What do you want from me? I'm the doc here. Now, why don't you go fuck off? This right here is the place of the living dead. More corpses here than in Arlington. Nothing else really to say. Well, because they pay well for being patched together, and don't ask stupid questions like you. Oh, I just can't wait for that.